and other times I've just missed out and been fourth. So I'm happy to get on the podium, but just didn't get the win.
Amazing racecraft from the 11-year-old from Surrey. But Jeremy Metcalf's third place is still good enough to keep him at the head of the championship by a slender 6 points. But as they say, if the winner's cap fits, well, even if it doesn't, wear it.
Hello and welcome to another round of the McLaren Mercedes Champions of the Future. This week I've travelled across the Irish Sea to the superfast Nuts Corner circuit near Belfast for round 5 of our series. Nuts Corner is a real driver circuit with a great range of fast straights and demanding tight corners. Because of this, the racing is always action-packed as drivers slipstream or outbrake each other in the battle for positions. As we've already seen, our first champion of the year is Paul di Resta, but for number 31, Craig Dolby, the cadet title could prove a little more difficult for him to obtain, and time is running out. Craig, with just one more round to go in Champions of the Future, you're lying third in the championship now. You must feel a certain amount of pressure today.
Yeah, I've got to do well or else my championship's gone, really. I've got to finish in the top 3 in every heat and final.
A gap is opening up a bit. In fact, Wigan really was a disappointing round for you, wasn't it, the last round?
Yeah, we were just down on power. We just couldn't get up the front.
So what about your rivals then, Alexander Sims and Jeremy Metcalf? How confident are you that you can actually make up some lost points on them today?
I'm quite confident. I've just got to finish in front of them, really. But they are very quick today.
Craig definitely knows what he has to do, so let's rejoin race commentator Steve Slater to find out what happens.
Every race this year has been a cracker. Let's see what happens here. Pole for Ricky Christodoulou. He adds 80 more points to his championship total than it's Alexander Sims. Craig Dolby is 5th on the grid, and Jeremy Metcalf, the other championship rival, is 7th. Great race in prospect. Christodoulou, pole position on the inside, and a great start from Ricky. Weaves across the front of Craig Dolby and Jeremy Metcalf, already up to 2nd and 3rd. And off there, Marty Dye and Jack Linfoot. But it's Ricky Christodoulou at the head of the field. Craig Dolby, though, going every inch of the way with him. Tremendous battle. 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th places there. John Lancaster, Alexander Sims heading that pack. But it's number 12, Ricky Christodoulou. But not for long, because Craig Dolby scythes down the inside from 5th place into the race lead on the opening lap. Amazing stuff. And behind him is Jeremy Metcalf now, kart number 6. He started in 7th place. Behind them, Daniel Rowbottom fighting to keep up. These 3 now making a break at the head of the field. Craig Dolby, the young man from Leicestershire, heads the young man from the West Midlands. Jeremy Metcalf from Fleet in Hampshire, 3rd position. Then comes the rest of the pack. And it's number 31 now, head down over the steering wheel. Craig Dolby, British Racing Green on his kart. The 2 Ford Young Guns karts right in hot pursuit, but it's number 31 holding on ahead of Ricky Christodoulou. Then comes Jeremy Metcalf, Daniel Rowbottom, John Lancaster, Alexander Sims, and a tremendous battle going on further down the pack as well. But number 31 as a challenge there for 2nd place, and very late on the brakes for Jeremy Metcalf. It gets him through into that 2nd place. This is the battle for 14th, 15th and 16th places. Edward Hoy closing in on number 11, Daniel Rowbottom. He was 4th, he's dropping back. Now number 76 ahead, Johnny McGee, the young Dubliner, looks over his shoulder. Edward Hoy, nephew of touring car champion Will Hoy. Well, he has a great pedigree to live up to. Johnny McGee and Edward Hoy heading the pack. Then it's Jack Linfoot, Jake Rosenberg, Matthew Hamilton, Daniel Rowbottom. And ahead of them, another 3-car scrap. 9th, 10th and 11th places there at the top of our screens. James Young, Ross Warswick and James Harvey. Absolutely brilliant racing. Number 18, Hoy, closes again on the Dubliner, Johnny McGee. McGee blocking, taking a tighter line. Good racecraft there by the 11-year-old. Oh, and that takes Jack Linfoot through into 13th place ahead of Edward Hoy. And Hoy now has to fight to keep up the momentum, because when you get forced offline, he's now got Jake Rosenberg trying to find a way past him. Hoy has to keep his head, keep his cool, and keep up that momentum. Number 36, James Collado, 8th place there, ahead of this pack. Then it's James Young, Ross Warswick and James Harvey. Well, then it's anybody's race, and the man taking the advantage this time, Jack Linfoot, moves up into that 12th position, but right behind him, real wheel-to-wheel action. Number 18, Edward Hoy, still holding on there. 76, using the curbs. That is Johnny McGee dropping down the order now. Number 45, though, at the head of the 3-car fight. James Young driving brilliantly in his defence. And going now with Jack Linfoot, it's Edward Hoy. They're making a break away from that pack, and they are closing in on the 3 karts ahead. 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th place. Oh, and off. Well, he's not going to come out ahead. Number 46, James Harvey, drops down the order, getting too excited, bouncing over the gravel trap. And that means that number 45, James Young, has now number 88, Jack Linfoot, and Edward Hoy closing in on him. There he is, number 45 in the red, 88 in the white, Linfoot, and going wheel to wheel around the outside there. Ross Warswick regained to place, someone else flying across the grass. Tremendous scraps and real nursery school for learning the racecraft. But number 31, race leader at the head. Oh, and he's left it very tight on the defensive line. He's gone wide over the curbs. And straight away, we have a new race leader, Jeremy Metcalf, up into the lead, followed by Ricky Christodoulou. And Ricky is trying to find a way past now. These two are teammates in the Ford Young Guns team, but there are no team orders here. Christodoulou goes wheel to wheel, and he goes all the way around the outside now. Can number 6 hold on? Yes, he can. And it's across the curbs for Ricky. And number 31, Craig Dolby, comes back on him. And Dolby goes back to the head of the field. Absolutely brilliant stuff, but not for long. Ricky Christodoulou springs the trap on both of them straight down the inside, and this is the last lap of the race. Through turn 9, up to turn 10, last corner of the last lap. Who is going to come out ahead? Ricky Christodoulou's looking good. He's bouncing to get the traction. It's wheel to wheel and a photo finish. What a result. Ricky Christodoulou taking it from Craig Dolby and Jeremy Metcalf, and all three karts covered by 0.1 of a second. Brilliant.
I got out in front and they just followed me and pushed, and we got a gap. And on the last lap, I took the first bend tight, and then Jeremy and Ricky came past me.
I got in a groove because we were taking the same lines every lap and braking in the same places, and we were just pushing each other everywhere. I just went wide a tiny bit up at one of the top corners, and Craig went down the inside of me. Ricky went wide, and he just cut across and went past both of us.
Excellent, really. I just won. We were in the group, and I was just sit behind and wait until the last lap.
Ricky Christodoulou won indeed, but Alexander Sims heads the championship points into the final round. Just 7 points between the top two. I wouldn't like to call this one, but in the meantime, it's time to celebrate. And these three young men are winners all.
Ugmore Park plays host for our final program of the year. Final championship title is in the hands of one of three drivers. But which one? Are you surprised that you've actually done as well as you have this year, or were you always confident that you'd be doing so well?
Well, I was a bit surprised because I didn't think I'd win the first 3 rounds, so it's just real good to be up here.
I'm not too nervous because what will be, and hopefully I'll come out as a winner of the championship.
And who are the boys to beat?
I've got to beat Craig Dolby and Alexander Sims.
And how difficult are they going to be to overtake?
Extremely.
So what about these ever-changing weather conditions? How much is that going to be a problem for the drivers?
It's all right because last year it was wet and I won all my heats and came third in one, so pretty confident if it rains.
How much work is it to your kart though? Because you get the setup so it's nice and dry and everything's geared up for a dry race. How much work is that to change it completely?
It's a lot of work because you've got to change the engine, the carburetor, wheels, everything.
So who's it gonna be? It's showdown time as Steve Slater guides us through our final race.
Ricky Christodoulou's on pole position, but alongside him, Craig Dolby is one of the 3 drivers who has the best chance of winning the title. Jeremy Metcalf 5th on row 3 of the grid, and Alexander Sims starts 12th down on row 6. It's going to be an interesting race on the cadets, as always, but who's going to be champion? Well, it's Ricky Christodoulou, the first leader, down the inside of turn 1. Craig Dolby runs wide, and it's Jeremy Metcalf making his move up from 5th into 2nd place, but it's 3 abreast, Freddie Martin Dye and number 11, Daniel Rowbottom, and there's some bumping and boring in the pack. Edward Hoy, number 18, bouncing over the curbs, and the race leader too, Ricky Christodoulou, and that loses in momentum. Jeremy Metcalf through into the lead from 5th place on the starting grid. Daniel Rowbottom, number 11, pushing hard too and putting the pressure on Ricky Christodoulou now. Freddie Martin Dye, 4th position, and Craig Dolby, look out for number 31, he is moving up as well. And Craig Dolby, there he is, 5th position at the moment, putting the pressure on Freddie Martin-Dye for his 4th position, car number 3. Meanwhile, Jeremy Metcalf at the head of the pack. Daniel Rowbottom now has dispatched Ricky Christodoulou, and it's these two making the run at the head of the field. Jeremy Metcalf hand over the inlet system there to get a little bit more power out of the corner, and it seems to have worked. Daniel Rowbottom tucks into his slipstream. And all 3 championship contenders all together. But Freddie Martin-Dye's disappeared out of the pack now. We've lost the number 3 and a challenge for the lead. And it's Daniel Rowbottom down the inside and taking with him Alexander Sims. The man who started in 10th place is now up to 2nd. And number 6, Jeremy Metcalf, his championship rival, can just shake his head. Tremendous driving. Daniel Rowbottom, race leader. But look out for that number 55, Alexander Sims. He's still got the pressure, though, with Jeremy Metcalf right on his back bumper. And then behind him, number 31, Craig Dolby. So all 3 championship leaders are together, 2nd, 3rd and 4th positions. But at the head of the pack, Jeremy Metcalf doing his best to get back on terms with the battle between Daniel Rowbottom and number 55, Alexander Sims, who from row 6 on the starting grid is through into the lead. That is amazing stuff, even in cadet karting. Now, can the young man from Spalding in Lincolnshire hold on? Oh dear, and that is Craig Dolby. And Dolby out of the race and being consoled by the marshal there, distraught at losing potentially the champion's title. Such disappointment for the young man from Melton Mowbray, but the race still goes on. Alexander Sims and Daniel Rowbottom running almost as one 8-wheel cart. And Alexander Sims absolutely focused concentration, aiming for the apex. Ricky Christodoulou now and cousin Adam Christodoulou, 3rd and 4th. Jeremy Metcalf has been deposed down to 5th position. And Tom Lawson now, number 40, closing in. And it's the 2 cousins, side by side. Meanwhile, Daniel Rowbottom makes a challenge, winds up on the grass. The battle for 3rd and 4th. Ricky Christodoulou from Four Oaks in the West Midlands. Adam Christodoulou from Shenstone. And they're being consoled by mum. Poor old Craig Dolby having to walk home. As number 55, Alexander Sims, soaks up the pressure from Daniel Rowbottom. And it's absolutely head-to-head in this. And making it 3 men now going for that lead position. Adam Christodoulou's worked his way through, and he's looking for a gap. It's a defensive line from Daniel Rowbottom. Takes him through into the race lead, very tight line. And Adam Christodoulou now piling on the pressure, and a superbly judged move takes him through into the race lead. Meanwhile, 5th place for Jeremy Metcalf, 2nd place for Alexander Sims, or 3rd place for Alexander Sims now, as the battle goes on ahead of him. Means they're going to be dead equal on championship points. This really is an amazing finale. Number 55, Alexander Sims, has to get back past Adam Christodoulou and Daniel Rowbottom to become the champion. It is a race of strategy and tactics. The duds have got the pocket calculators out on the pit wall. Ricky Christodoulou down into 4th position at the tail of this pack, as it's Daniel Rowbottom who goes back into the lead of the race. Adam Christodoulou, though, has a different line through this corner. Is it going to work? Daniel takes the tight line, and it brings Christodoulou up alongside. Christodoulou again changes line. Beautiful dummy sold on Daniel Rowbottom there. And it's Adam Christodoulou now from Rowbottom, 1st and 2nd places. But this is going to go all the way to the checkered flag. The 2 now making a break ahead of Alexander Sims and Ricky Christodoulou. They are still 3rd and 4th. Alexander Sims trying desperately to get back on terms. Last time up the hill, back down through the sweeping S's. And just 1 corner still to go, and it's going to be absolutely head-to-head on the run to the start-finish line. It's wheel-to-wheel, almost 3 abreast at the finish. And what a finale to the season. Adam Christodoulou, Daniel Rowbottom, just 0.01 of a second between them.
I feel very happy, and just like to say thank you to my mechanics.
But what about the championship? That storming drive by Alexander Sims from 12th to 3rd puts him equal with 5th place Jeremy Metcalf. But was it enough?
Alexander, it couldn't have been closer. It could not have been closer. You just missed out on the championship by 1 heat win. Are you very disappointed?
No, because I knew that as I've won Super 1 that top 3 in Champions of the Future would please me, and now I've got second, I'm even more happier. But I am disappointed that I didn't get the win.
But you made good, slow, steady progress throughout the series, didn't you?
Yes.
That was terrific. Congratulations, Jeremy Metcalf. You are a very happy guy, because I know you thought Alexander had won the championship at the end of the race, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought he'd won it by a point because my dad calculated it, and yeah, he got it wrong. I didn't really have a lot of good finals, but I definitely did my work in the heats.
With both drivers equal on points, it went down to the number of wins in the heats. Sims won 5, but Metcalf had won 7, making him the champion. But Adam Christodoulou was the man with the last lap, winner at Wetmore Park.
Well, that's it for this year's Champions of the Future. I hope you've enjoyed the series as much as we have. It's been a hard-fought championship. Congratulations to our 4 Formula champions, though, to Nicky Mitchell, to Bradley Ellis, Jeremy Metcalf and Paul D'Arista, all worthy champions. From all of us here at Wetmore Park, we look forward to seeing you again next year. Bye for now. Bye.
They come from all over the United Kingdom, even as far away as Venezuela, in the belief that one day they will emulate their heroes on the World Formula One racing grid. And the chances are one of them will. The British Super 1 kart series is where boyhood dreams began for David Coulthard, Johnny Herbert, Dario Franchitti, Jason Plato, and now Jenson Button. Welcome to Rowra for round 3 of the Alf Hillhouse Hammond Junior Championship. In the first of 3 reports, we turn our attention to the Mini Brigade, the tiny tots of world motorsport, aged just 8 to 11 years. In their racing careers, they will never experience anything tougher than this. And one young man, in particular, is after someone else's job. Craig Dolby, number 7, sits in the championship after 2 rounds, is having a great weekend here on the track. And he has few illusions about where he hopes it will all end up.
I'm leading Champs of the Future, so I want to win both.
And then where does it go after that?
To the JICA class.
You're going straight from cadets to JICA?
Yes.
It's a bit daunting, isn't it?
Not really. I've tested in JICA already and I was quite quick, so it's just going to try my best.
So we'd have to say watch out all you guys on the Formula 1 grid. Craig Dolby's on the way then, do we?
Yeah.
So if I see Jenson Button in the next couple of weeks, what have I got to tell him?
Look out because Craig Dolby is going to be taking his spot.
So, Jenson Button, if you're watching, remember the name, Craig Dolby, leading the grid here at Rowra in the Cadet A final. All the drivers out on the track, 16 laps ahead, each one brimful of incident and drama for sure, with lots of elevation and tight corners to contend with. On board with Dolby, on the run in to the rolling start. Number 6 behind him is Jeremy Metcalf. Number 10 there, Ricky Christodoulou. And 98, Matthew Hamilton. red to green, and there they go. A full grid of 24, each powered by a 60cc engine, but capable of 60 miles an hour. And already you saw there number 10, Christodoulou, launching his race, and 46, James Young, taking quite a clout. Dolby, number 7, staying out of trouble. Holds on to the pole position, achieved incidentally by a clean sweep of victories in the heats, and in spite of big pressure applied by Alexander Sims 11, and this man, number 6, Jeremy Metcalf. By the way, Freddie Martin Dye's second in the championship was black flagged in his final heat, so he starts way back in 9th place. Not a happy bunny at all. In through the S's, and Dolby just hanging on from number 6 Hamilton. Another look now, though, at the first right-hander that says so much about the lottery of the early stages. Dolby over the line at the end of lap 1 leads from Jeremy Metcalf 6, Daniel Rowbottom 0, Alexander Sims 11, Matt Humphries 98, and number 3 Freddie Martin Dye picking up 3 places already. And you saw there Sims moving up to relieve Rowbottom at 3rd place, and Martin Dye moving up to 5th. So already, this is quite some race. Down the hill to the tight right-hander, and the S's at the far end of the circuit. This is a good overtaking spot, but Dolby's defence holds tight. His first lap time off the rolling start, 58.001 seconds. This lap should be a second or so quicker. Through the S's, in past the pits, and the big hairpin that takes him over the start-finish line for the second time. And Dolby being literally pushed along by Metcalf and Sims, and records a 56.242 seconds for his second lap. 1.759 seconds quicker than his first. Well, he needs to speed it up a bit. Metcalf applying massive pressure here. He's been pushed by Sims. Oh, and Metcalf thinks about a nibble then, but thinks again better off it, waits his chance, and there will be many on a circuit where almost every bend offers something. On board again with Dolby, and Metcalf attached to his rear fender. Half an error from the leader is all he's looking for. And Sims making sure they both stay on their toes. Around the long hairpin again, coming in at the end of lap. And the first 3 cross the line as one. It's Rowbottom in 4th, number 0 looking on. Metcalf closing in again. Reflectors acute, and Dolby forced to defend his corner. Again, it's successfully, but here comes Sims. Metcalf a fraction slow out of the last corner. Finds the man second in the championship at his side, and Alexander Sims, with all the confidence in the world, goes back to the position in which he started the race. Closing in on Dolby. And Dolby now with a different fight on his hands, and one he will hardly relish. Sims arguably has the quicker kart, so expect Dolby's defence to be stretched to the absolute limits, and Sims took a look. Unsuccessfully last lap times, Dolby 56.202, Sims 56.083, the fastest lap of the race so far. Well, it's all beginning to hot up in this cadet final, and as they reach the halfway point in the race, surely the winner will now come from these 2. Trouble ahead though, 64 Daniel Crankshaw about mid-lap, could cause a problem or 2. And Sims looks for the inside track. Dolby covers the option, but he'll need to be smart into the next right-hander. Sims has built himself some momentum, and that is quite a magnificent pass with 7.5 laps to go. Alexander Sims justifies his high ranking by outsmarting Dolby and taking the lead. Well, here he goes. He's softened him up on the first corner, slipped into the toe, building the momentum. And Dolby with no option but to go wide on the approach to the S's. Craig Dolby then must now turn defence into attack. He can afford to be slightly generous with the higher risk manoeuvre. 3rd place, Jeremy Metcalf has drifted around 50 metres behind. Around the left-hander. Oh, and Sims braking late, needing far too much track. Clatters all over the rumble strip, into the gravel, and Craig Dolby accepts what is a very generous gift. So, what next? Sims quickly back on the task, not fazed by the unfortunate error. 4 laps in which to put things right again. Oh, right tight on the back of Dolby, taking the tow. And looking at the replay going into that corner, he was far too quick. He couldn't hang on, and in the end, lucky not to have finished up in the tyres. Now though, with it all to do again. We know he has a marginally quicker kart, but how much damage is inflicted to his confidence, and indeed to the kart chassis. But here he comes again, and you won't get a more positive answer to both those questions. Alexander Sims, with an early counter, returns to the front with a lap and a half to go. And Dolby, who 60 seconds ago must have thought Christmas had come early, will now realise that in this sort of company, gifts must be repaid. On the same corner that Sims so generously gave him the lead, he has it snatched away a minute later. So a lap and a bit to go. And it'd always been easier to attack than defend. Dolby still in with a chance. Into the start-finish line for the last time. Up the hill. Nothing to choose. Martin Ty into third place now with Metcalf and Rowbottom. They're still arguing about that, but it's Dolby with time running out. Still tight on the back of Sims, takes it wide here, but Sims on the case, slides over to cover, nudges Dolby. Nothing too serious, that's racing. Now then, how about the S's? And Sims, quick to distance himself there from many assault, pushes Dolby away, creates a little space. But Dolby, on the section of the track where little has happened so far, stokes up the riposte with a view to something on the last sweeping right-hander. And here he goes. But Sims, finding just enough puff under his right boot, blocks the intended route and hangs on for quite a superb victory. Well, the younger stars on the track at their very best there, and still friends. Alexander Sims taking the top spot after a brilliant battle with Craig Dolby. But Dolby won't be that disappointed. When all the points were added up, including the heats, he had 2 more than Sims and leaps up to 3rd overall.
Alexander, you nearly threw that away, didn't you?
Yeah, I could have blocked, but then I would come out slow and Craig might have taken a wide line and got it, so I just did what I thought was good and luckily got it.
Yeah, what happened when you went off?
I just braked too late and I just went a bit wide and it just went all wrong.
Did you think that was it then?
No, because I got back on and I was pretty close to Craig again, so quite lucky.
Right. Craig, almost a perfect day for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was hard because Alexander was real quick, but with all the heat wins I thought I could win, but he just put me to the line.
Nearly gave you the chance though, didn't he?
Yeah, at the first hairpin he just ran wide and I just came through, but he caught me up and overtook me again.
So is this the way it's going to be for the rest of the season, you two?
I don't know. Hopefully.
I think I was with Craig for the first, I think it was 3 or 4 laps. And then Alex overtook me and I fell back a bit. And I think I knew by then that I wouldn't really catch them up again because they were so consistent on their lap times. I mean, I think I was about exactly the same times as them, which of course I was never actually pulling in on them.